right, guys, here we are to do another Zoom review. Today we're going to be talking about 1991's Cool as Ice. So we have a special guest, Chrissie Wunna. Say hello.
Hello. It's lovely to see you guys. You're both so cute.
Oh, thank you. We're very happy to have you here. You are our first person from across the ocean to ever grace our show. So this is a monumental occasion.
Oh, I love it. I'm very, very honored. I can't wait.
And you're here for a very fun movie. So Cool as Ice. Had you seen this one before?
No, I had never even heard of it. I've never even seen it in my entire life. I asked you for a surprise, and you certainly delivered.
Yeah. This was the biggest surprise I could think of. You know, you get Rob Van Winkle, Vanilla Ice himself, in this action comedy, I guess you'd call it. And bam.
I'll be honest, I was surprised. You were like, we're watching Cool as Ice. And I'm like, with Vanilla Ice? And you were like, yes. And I'm like, wow, he's really committed to this like deadpan joke that he's pretending it's the Vanilla Ice movie. When I'm sure it's like, oh, it's like a killer snowboarding movie or some other thing. It's like whatever. And then it was the Vanilla Ice movie. So yeah, very pleasantly surprised though.
Oh yeah, this is a classic that almost no one's ever seen.
It was like the best love story my eyes had ever seen. I loved it.
I love the high praise. Vanilla Ice's head just swollen. He doesn't know why. He's somewhere just like, what? Someone's talking about me.
I said, like, I would totally date Vanilla Ice. But I can't even say his name, but I'd date him after this.
Yeah, I may have fallen in love a little bit, but with them as a couple, I think more so than just with Mr. Ice. But yes, definitely.
Definitely been a fan of Vanilla Ice ever since Ninja Turtles. I think it would be hard to not, associate him directly with the franchise. You know, go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. A big part of his career, I think, in like, your 80-somethings, young children. Or probably late 70s.
Well, I mean, not many people know this, but before he started flipping houses,
I'm not just some rapper that comes out here and just started flipping homes.
He was actually a rapper.
You wanna battle me anytime, anywhere.
So,
before he was working with the Amish, he was on stage.
Coming out here with the Amish, it's a little bit easier to build a team with passion, ninja style.
Yeah. And that's that's the time frame we're in here. No, solid dancer, has a good backstory in like real life, not just like whatever, right? Hardworking.
Well, his real character has no backstory in the movie.
That's what I'm saying, obviously. So I just want to be clear. I'm not pretending that the character has a backstory in the movie. It's just like he's just Vanilla Ice. I'm pretty sure. Whatever. But yeah.
I think he plays a character called Jason or
Johnny.
Johnny. That's it. Yeah.
It's very important.
His name is barely ever said. They don't even mention it in the movie until 37 minutes in. I think it's very easy to forget his name. Had he not had his ID stolen, nobody would ever know his name. So I don't want to give away spoilers here. So in our non-spoilers part of this movie, well, let's get your thoughts on it. So what did you think, Chrissie? What is your Cool as Ice thoughts with no spoilers?
With no spoilers, I thought, well, when you first showed me what the movie was going to be, I thought it was going to be rubbish. And it ended up exceeding all my expectations. I thought it was brilliant. Honestly, it was like I always say, if JoJo Siwa and Eminem merged and had a baby, it was Vanilla Ice in this movie. The story was good. Like, there was nothing I didn't like. I thought it was brilliant. Honestly, no joke.
I'm very glad to hear you liked it, because I feel like this movie takes a very special type of person to really enjoy it and to really get what it is. And like it is such an outlandish concept of a movie. It is the 90s bottled up in essence. Like, this is a high C commercial, like mixed with just all the music videos of the time with a not necessarily loose plot just to string these scenes together, but that's kind of what the time was. Like, in the 80s, you had just like ridiculous movies with like what is happening, and the 90s, it was like, what is happening? And you had all that kind of fun atmosphere. So, Lee, let me hear your non-spoiler thoughts.
No, absolutely. I like, this is the best version of what this could have been. And I think some people might be like, oh, it's like not a good like film or Oscar thing or something. But like, no, this, like, I enjoyed this thoroughly, more than I thought I was going to. I think it's really good. Like you're saying, it's like Pee-wee's Big, Great Adventure, and all those 80s movies where like, oh, we got to save the rec center, and I don't even skateboard, but I have to skate against this bullet bully, and it's like this whole weird, all smashed together in this weird, that is in fact a love story, like you're saying, Chrissy. So like, yeah, it's, I was actually like partway through, I was like, okay, this is going to be painful. And then, so, stuff happens and I go like, oh no, I'm actually super into this. And by the end, I'm like, I enjoyed this movie. I'd watch it again. That's huge.
High praise. So
I'm a one and done guy. I don't watch them again, but I'd watch this again.
This was my second time watching. I'd only seen this once before. That was like in like the 2007-8 range. I picked up this DVD. I got myself a British copy. I had to play it in my region-free DVD player because I couldn't find an American copy for a reasonable cost. Sons of bitches. But our friends on the island, they shipped me out one, and then bam, here we are watching a movie.
Interesting.
But yeah, this I think bears rewatching. I think you could check this out at a party, and it would be a smash hit, a great group watch. It's rare that everyone on the panel gives something a unironic thumbs up here, and this might be the first time that has happened.
I think you have to be able to appreciate it if you're a little bit bonkers. But I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I would literally. I buy it. I definitely watch it again. It was so good.
I'm about to spoil something. So I'll just say right now, we're going into the spoiler zone. So if you've seen it or don't care, follow us over to spoilers. And if not, pull out now. Go check this out. For our American friends, it's on Tubi. For everybody else, I think you have to go, rent, buy, what have you. And we'll see you over in spoilers.
If you need a place to rent content, you better listen. We're Cannibal Video and we eat the competition.
All right, so here we are in the spoiler zone. Chrissy, let me hear your spoiler-filled thoughts on this movie. Let's start ripping it apart, ruining it, and talking about what makes it or breaks it.
Well, I'm a massive fan, but when it did start, it's got that really long musical intro at the beginning.
Very padding for length.
Oh, what is this? But it just never ended. It was like the longest.
Okay, it's over 5 minutes long. This is the part that I was talking about, where I was like, uh-oh, because it's barely 90 minutes long, and the first solid 5 minutes are just a music video. I fell asleep. I woke up. It was still playing. I'm like, what is happening? This is crazy. Yeah, it's
fantastic, though, because that's Naomi Campbell singing that first song, and she's a model. I don't know if she sings or if she's just mouthing those parts. I couldn't tell because it looked natural enough. So either she's just really good at lip syncing. I don't know that song personally. I'm not a deep cut Vanilla Ice guy, so I don't know what songs may have been written for the movie or might have been out previously. I know that he plays that one song that has the middle is another song. What is that one?
Thank you for
yeah. Like that song I've heard before, and I don't know if that came out before this. I did no research, as we almost never do. But that was like one of the few things that I'm like, okay, everyone knows Ice Ice Baby. He's got 3 other songs.
Well, they don't play that one, right? Or do they?
No, I did not play that one, and that would have been
brilliant.
His big hit. I don't know if they could afford that song in this movie. Because I remember hearing rumors that he was dangled out of a window by Suge Knight or something, and he got all the ownership or some bullshit of Vanilla Ice's songs. So they might not have had the money to pay. Just because they had the artist doesn't mean they have the songs. So that's why you get the lesser known B-side songs in this movie.
Yeah, probably. But whatever, that intro was long, and I just kept blinking. I'm like, that's Naomi Campbell.
Yeah, right?
Is that Bobby Brown? What's going on? Who are these? What's happening? Yes.
There are so many characters.
It's crazy.
You posit this world where Vanilla Ice is some, he appears to be Vanilla Ice. He has a big crowd and all these dancers and this thing. And then he's just this random Ronin on a motorcycle traveling the countryside, presumably to their next show. But it gives you this it's such a weird world, and I love it. Chris, you keep talking. I cut you off and went on a tangent there. you were giving your spoiler-filled thoughts.
It lasted a long time. It was all moody and dark and blue, and then all of a sudden you just blink and you're in this bright 90s world of life. It's almost candy-like, and it just starts from there for me. And I loved it. I thought it was brilliant.
So it grabbed you from almost the jump. It had a 4-minute rocky start, and then you're like, I'm off to the races. This is what I'm in for. I love it.
Yeah, exactly. That first bit. I was like, oh no, what has he sent me? But as soon as I saw them on the bike, and it was all Candyland, I was in. I was like, yeah.
That's
Yes.
a great. We use that kind of, so like you say Candyland, and we always say looks like candy whenever someone turns up the saturation on something and it's all bright and otherworldly. So like that I get that vibe also. Like it has this dreamlike quality where nothing exactly makes sense how it is appearing. So like from our opening bit to where our hero meets his love interest, he sees her riding a horse. He's actually nudged from off screen by a guy he told to come alongside him for no apparent reason.
Hey, yo, Dad, come here, man. Come here.
He's like, hey, come over here. And that guy does. And you think he's going to say something. He says nothing. Then that guy taps him. He's like, look over there. Girl on a horse. That's your thing, right, Vanilla?
Yo, dip it up. Over there, man, check.
And he's like, oh, shit.
And he says, you think you could kill her with your motorcycle? And he goes, oh, hell yeah. And then boom, he goes.
There's not even a ramp there. He just, like, I guess presses on the shocks and springs up and flies over this thing. And you're like, what was in his brain here? Oh, yeah, I'm going to impress her by flying and landing. And then once he's in there, how the fuck does he get out of there? He's now in a horse farm.
I'm impressed. If he did that to me, I'd be going home with him for sure.
Even if he knocks you off your horse, he could have killed her.
That's a bit more awkward on a horse, but she was all right.
She did land on her feet, basically, yes.
You're going to see guys all around the world flocking to jump motorcycles over small fences just to get you. They're gonna be like, all right, yes. I know what her trick is. She's into guys jumping fences with motorcycles. Bam. I definitely love it just because it is ludicrous. Like, just picture that on the page. Like, it's like, and he does a badass jump and bam, she falls for him, literally.
Right. She gets up and knocks the dust off and curses him out. That's when the love story really begins. Yes.
It does. Like,
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, but I didn't know what was going to happen at that point. So I did think it was a bit weird. But now, like, having watched it all, I go back to that moment like it was so special.
Yes. In retrospect, it was perfect, right? Yes.
Yeah, when it is your first moment of interaction, it seems a bit odd. But when you see everything else, like the Kool-Aid Man bursting through walls, to fight gangsters and him single-handedly kung fuing a whole group of like straight-laced thugs, I guess you'll call them. Like
preppies.
Preppies, the choir, or whatever they are. There's a lot of moments there where like any one of those on their own would be like, okay, what is this scene? But when you stack them up like an amazing Jenga tower here, it makes for a really fantastic ride where you really can't guess the next thing to happen. And you're always surprised and enjoy these weird things, this weird cast of characters, these crazy mom and pop mechanics.
We're all very impressed here. Now let's call it a day.
Oh wait, so yes, like I was in the beginning when he does the jump, I was like, oh, the description says he gets stranded in some town where he falls for this person. So I'm like, okay, so this is how it's going to happen. Maybe he goes to visit her in the hospital because he just broke her leg. No, maybe this is how he breaks his bike and now he's stuck there and has to get it fixed and then like adventure ensues. None of that happens. It's not connected at all. It's just how they meet. Right. And then somebody else in his posse's bike just randomly breaks. And
not mine, man, his.
That's how they get stuck there. And yes, they go to Pee-wee's Playhouse to get it fixed. With these two the dude from that is Franklin from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, the guy who was down doing the fashion work and the stuff. And I was like, what?
This is Franklin, our head designer.
I was a minor in modern dance.
Bye.
Because we had just watched that. Yes, amazing.
The dad is Burt Gummer.
Most of them were in front of the truck, so I just popped it in the sixth wheel and ran them down.
Bert, I know.
So that's fantastic. I do love the bike breaking down in the middle of the road and them all just stopping and trying to like figure out how to make it work. There's like just a line. They're in the most like fantastical Edward Scissorhands kind of village where like all the trees are these like mushroom cuts and
town.
weird shit. It sets up this crazy just the world where like you haven't seen the the weird what would you call it, the Pee-wee's Playhouse Mansion?
Yes.
Whatever that house is. I love that house.
You've just seen everybody being like, oh, what are they? So you think like, oh, dancing is forbidden, and now he's gonna like get the town to stop being so square and make them cool and stuff. But that isn't what it's about either. No, he goes to this impossible house that can't exist, that that's made of sugar wafer candy, and then they're gonna fix the bike, even though that's not why they went there. They were just passing it. Like, it's crazy. The whole plot is crazy. But yes, that's when it like sucks you in. That around that time when you're like, oh, okay, this is insanity.
Oh, definitely. You always think all the way through it that nothing makes sense and nothing's gonna work, and then everything makes sense and everything works. It's brilliant. I loved it. But you know what I didn't like? I thought something I didn't like. When that dude eats that pickled weird sardine. Dude,
yes.
I could never look at him again. Whenever he came on the screen, I was like, no. Awful.
He must smell. His breath must smell like that whole sandwich for the rest of his life.
Yes, that was a brutal sandwich concoction. Like pickles and peanut butter, I'm sure that's somebody's thing. But then he puts sardines, like the big red Walmart can of sardines that I think are usually in tomato sauce, which is another taste thing you don't want on there. So that's a brutal sandwich.
Little slice of pineapple to cap it off with the mustard on there. I was like, what is this? And then I thought it was a trick because there's a cut there, but it looks like he really bit that sandwich. I don't know if he did. I think they might have subbed in like a stunt sandwich that was made of something normal, but it seems like he really ate it, which is even crazier to me. That guy was committed.
That was actually just his lunch break, and they happened to be filming.
They just filmed it. Yeah.
That montage is so ridiculous, like, because it's a slow song, and it's like Vanilla Ice dancing like shirtless. It's like Mom and Pop working on the car, like the girl's doing some dance number with the other guy, like in the middle of the street, and he's making a sandwich, and you're like,
yeah. There's all these time-passing montages that kind of, because we have to indicate that like the bike is still not fixed, so they're stuck, and I guess Vanilla Ice can go off on his adventure.
They strip that bike down to the literal individual parts. It is completely unassembled.
It's right here, right before your eyes. Don't you see it?
That's his bike.
They are dropping parts of the panels where I'm like, well, that's scratched now. You can't be like, you don't have the ability to fix this custom paint job. This is ludicrous. And like they're such a weird couple too, because that bike is a GSX R1100, and that's like, I couldn't tell you what it cost new, but now it'd be like $5,100, something in that ballpark.
That's more than our house, Harold.
Well, they say this bike costs more than our house, and I couldn't again tell you what that house cost then. I guess we could do some math. That house, I looked it up, is $811,000 right now. So if we just compare that sliding scale, and yes, the bike would depreciate in value, but even if that bike was 40 grand, there's that house that was like a weird Pee-wee's mechanical mansion home. The globes alone are worth as much as that bike. Like that's a crazy house, and just the architecture of it and the interior, and honestly all the interiors of all the houses had these just weird fixtures and touches. Like our lead love interest's house, her bedroom has this fish bowl with fish that can't possibly live in a bowl like that. Those are tropical fish that require a filter and a heater. I used to breed fish. I know a little bit about this.
Unfortunately,
that would not work.
No,
those would be dead.
Okay, yes, she changes it every day. Those are new fish in every shot.
New fish every day.
She's dumping the old fish and putting new fish in there. Yes.
Every day. Yeah, I liked it. Apart from when he put his ring in it near the end, I'm like, gross.
Just to
was
make
the
her
ring
reach in there.
weird to anybody else though? Like, hey, she just noticing the ring was in there I was like, oh, she has the eyes of a hawk. Okay, because I thought that like her brother was just kidnapped and they kind of tossed the house a bit as he ran through. I thought her bedroom, but I guess not. But regardless of that, her giving him the ring seemed like it was such a quick step. They've known each other for all of 2 days. And it appeared that she's like, my class ring, like here you are, and he's like, all right, I'll put that up.
What's this for?
Oh, it's just so you know the difference between me and Monique.
My pinky, we are now in love. We'll be married one day. You're my betrothed. And then, like, you know, him to sneak back in and give it up. Sneaking in. Wait. I can't not say the sneaking in. He sneaks into her bedroom on like day one of them even knowing each other.
What are you doing here?
And he's just in the bed, dripping ice water in her mouth.
This is my favorite scene in the entire movie. This is what broke me, because he feeds her an ice chip to wake her up, and she's like, she's into it. She loves it. Yeah.
We need to
Chrissie?
break that down. Okay, Chrissie, as the
say?
female on here right now, if you were to wake up, there is ice like coolly dripping onto your face, and then the whole chip is deposited into your mouth. What is your reaction to a stranger who has stolen your day planner?
Just like I found. Excuse me. Like I stole.
To say she's quite prudy, it was just like a normal, like, whatever Monday. Like, oh, I love this. I was just like, who the hell are you? Get out of my room. But it was weird. I don't know. Like, it was meant to be romantic and like, and he's like, shh, you got to be quiet. Your parents are here. What? That's creepy.
Like, you're gonna murder me. Yeah, he goes to put it in, and then she moves her head to be like, oh.
We don't want to wake up Mom and Dad.
Grab that. It's very crazy. It was very creepy.
And for a children's movie, which this is directed towards, it's a weirdly like sensual moment. This is not an adult's movie. It can't be. This is like, you know, like an after-school special almost in some ways. I thought
it was just like a fake movie. But it was like not a movie.
I'm sure it was a cash grab from a studio who was trying to bank in on, you know, Vanilla Ice's popularity at the time with the, you know, the teen tween market. But what I'm saying here is he did not show up with an ice cube. He had to go into her house.
Well, it was mostly melted. So yes, I picture he has carried it all the way up to the.
He traveled there.
Jumped over the fence, holding it.
Yeah. Through the house, pushing the little button on the door of the fridge, taking the ice cube, looking for the brother, not seeing him, walking back. All right, and drip the ice cube. Like, it's just such a weird moment. Like, and someone wrote that like, yeah, that's what cool is. Sneaking into a girl's bedroom and dropping ice.
He's cool as ice.
Because he's Vanilla Ice. He would use ice. That's a play on things. He's cool as ice. Yeah, ice. I'm surprised the ring didn't have some bling on it. They'd be like, ice. Like,
the only thing that could have made that scene better is if instead of an ice chip, it was a fish.
from the
everything. I've been like, here you go, babe.
And everything plays out the exact same way where she's like, oh.
Yeah. And then after he jumps out the window, she's like, and they start swimming around in the tank.
Oh God.
Bowl. Yeah.
No, but I like scenes like that are what make this such a, like, you could definitely rewatch this movie. Like almost the very next moment. Like you could watch the movie, you could be like, all right, let's just turn it back on. And you could watch it again now knowing what's about to happen and try to pick up and piece things. Because there's definitely stuff in the backgrounds of scenes happening, weird things, different couples. There's such weird characters in this movie that, like, I'm sure there are things you could grab on a rewatch. And again, this movie you want to show friends. You'd be like, all right, no, you got to watch this movie. I don't know. Vanilla Ice, you don't know Vanilla Ice. Let me show you Vanilla Ice. I can't
be the only one who knows about this. You have to spread
almost
it.
Like it's a curse. You have to spread it. Yeah.
You have to get someone else to watch it in 7 days.
It was just so good. I can't stop thinking about it. Honestly, like, it's made me love Vanilla Ice so much. Like, he's the man of my dreams.
That's incredible. Yes.
Knowing how much you enjoyed this movie, I really want to keep having you on and playing movies that try to break you and see, like, do you like this one? How about this one? Let's keep going. Because I've got one in mind that I feel one-ups this movie. And I don't know that Lisa even seen it. I'm not going to mention it.
Does it have Vanilla Ice in it? Because otherwise I'm not into it.
It does not, but there's another rapper. I only show people movies with rappers in them.
I thought that the chemistry between them was really interesting. Not necessarily good, but it, like, won me over, I guess, through its, like, persistence or something. When he's like, so what about tomorrow? And then she, like, makes fun of him. I don't know. What about tomorrow? Like, makes fun of his weird voice and stuff.
So what's up with tomorrow?
I don't know, man. So what's up with tomorrow?
What are we doing?
I was like, this is like she's calling him on his bullshit, and he's like smiling and like shrugging, like, I guess you got me, and then like going along with it. I thought it was really interesting because that's not the path you would take if you were doing like a vanity project where he's the coolest guy in the world, right? It's like interesting to me.
Yeah, they were really good. That was really well paired up. It was really well cast. I thought it was lovely. They were like Romeo and Juliet. It was cool.
Yeah, well, because the dad doesn't approve, right? But it's not because of whatever. It's not like, maybe initially it's because he's like a different class or something, but very quickly it's like, no, I'm in the witness protection program. He's trying to kill me.
You gentlemen have made some mistake. My name is Gordon Winslow.
Gordon.
If you'll excuse me, it's late.
Jim, you know, the cameras really don't do you much justice at all.
Which we have not touched on yet.
That's so ham-fisted in there. But yeah, that's a big plot of the movie. Is the dad is in the witness protection program. He has people that want him. They see the daughter on the TV because she's like the perfect student who loves her parents. She's the opposite of Vanilla Ice. Doesn't even know what parents are.
What's it like?
What do you mean, what's it like?
You know, having parents and all that stuff.
She's a huge overachiever and ends up being featured on the news, and then like Gambino Rossellini or whatever, this weird hitman mobster guy sees it.
Try to set an example, sure, but Catherine's always been very self-motivated.
And like goes, what? And then they do the whole like hitman on the road trip, out of town hitmen coming to kill him, or basically.
And they only park directly in front of his house. They hang out there. God. I think that's like, very like, okay, this is a movie. That's exactly how it would play. There's a phone call, which is how things usually play out. Like a series of phone calls would happen to the house, and it would make you suspicious. And you'd be like, oh, people keep calling and hanging up. But like, he is suspicious on the very first and potentially only missed call, which could have just been somebody dialing the wrong number. And it happens literally the moment after the broadcast.
Dad, you know, on TV, you don't look like a geek at all.
Tommy!
So the gangster would have had to have seen it, tracked him down digitally in 1991, impossibly, found out where he was, got his phone number, called him, said, I'm going to ring twice and hang up. And this is enough to spark Burt Gummer's fucking mind. He's like, oh no, they're on to me. Did you just call and hang up?
They spin the camera around, and he does like a very dramatic, like looking off into space, like, oh, I'm so nervous. Are they on to me? What is it? I don't know. Yeah, it's
I want to touch real quick on that relationship. I think that the two, Vanilla Ice and this girl whose name I don't recall.
Kathy.
I was thinking about her real name, but yes, I think they have great chemistry. And if you were to say that they did date after this or during this thing, I would believe it, because the way that they play off, especially the like happy, jolly running around that construction site, I'm like, no, these are like legitimately happy people.
Okay.
Like they don't look like acting happy people.
I had that thought too, but when each of them are like playing in the construction site, they're looking into the camera. So she's in love with the cameraman. Vanilla Ice may not even be there that day.
I picture, I have made a whole backstory world where Vanilla Ice is behind that guy making goofy faces and saying things. And likewise.
What it leads into, though, is and I checked because I was like, is this a ballad by Vanilla Ice? Because after that, they're suddenly on the salt flats before they go back to the horse farm. They have a big day of activities.
Oh yeah, and posing for 30 seconds in each location.
Yeah, and like they're hanging out, but this like never gonna be without you, baby. This like thing plays, but it's like Vanilla Ice. Yeah, I never wanna be with that. He's like doing this slow jam, this ballad. Oh my god, it made me laugh like out loud. I was like, this is incredible. Because he's like, I know exactly what song should go here. My song, where I'm talking about love. Yeah. Oh.
Well, most of the songs are his songs, and I would imagine that's playing into the trying to get the fan base to enjoy the movie, because like you're there for Vanilla Ice, especially in '91, and probably because like it's like, okay, we can get these songs pretty cheap. They've licensed this, that, and that. Like these are the B-sides that we're trying to sell on the next album, or whatever their thing might be. We got a tape coming out. Something has to be a backstory there, because it is so Vanilla Ice centric, and $1 million for him at this moment, I feel like that's a large budgeted, character. You gotta milk it for everything it's worth.
Yeah, definitely. I like that little montage, that love montage of frolicking around the construction thing.
They play with the hose. He hits her with a brick. It's like so cute.
That's so weird, but perfect. I don't know why I liked it so much.
Did that get you when you think I'm in love with Vanilla Ice now? Was it scenes like that where he was all like, let me teach you how to ride the motorcycle, babe? Like that stuff. Yeah.
I love that, and I don't know why. It's everything the way he was so naughty all the time. But like
recording in progress.
That's weird.
Yeah.
That's supposed to pop up an hour ago.
Yeah.
I'm leaving that in. Yeah, but he's definitely a boss. He came in super light, as in he only has the motorcycle. There's no bags. There's no sidecar. There's no little like carry-on things there.
Yo, man, check out this crazy whack house.
He has nothing, yet he does multiple costume changes throughout this movie. He changes his coats, his pants, he wears overalls, he has different shirts, different hats. The dude is like, just like, where was that? He's a genius.
He has changes of clothing all the time. It's the whole thing, right? It's crazy.
Did anybody catch who the lead actress was potentially going to be for this movie?
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow, yes, was indeed.
I noticed it on IMDb.
One of many to be offered the part of this movie. Winona Ryder, Jennifer Connelly, Drew Barrymore, Shannon Doherty, Jennifer Aniston, Uma Thurman, Courtney Cox, Tori Spelling. There were many people that were asked to be the lead of this, and they all turned it down. Gwyneth Paltrow did get the closest to taking the role, but I believe her dad/manager was like, don't do that.
This will kill your career.
I mean, one of those things they would look back on and just made me laugh, and like they would have been so happy that they were part of it.
And who knows who could have been Mrs. Ice?
Even I to this day love that movie because I went on his Insta after I watched it, and it's like a picture on his thing, like I think some like Ken doll or something, some doll was made out of his School of Ice character, and he posted it on his Instagram the other day. So
I wonder if that was an official release, because I will look for that.
Also, just the like synergy of it just happening is crazy. Man, all right, cool.
No, this movie's super fun. There's so much just ludicrous things happening in it that you have to talk about. Like the college boyfriend guy here, or the one's about to go to college and wants to break up. Her preppy boyfriend is just such a weird mix of just like stereotypical like douchebag and like just cartoon bully, because he doesn't seem to care about her in any actual way. She's just arm candy to him, and what she does has to reflect on him appropriately. He doesn't seem to care what she says or does. He wants to liquor her up at this hootenanny. I don't know what you want to call this like party thing they're at.
I thought you said liquor, and I was like, well, he kind of does, but yes. Liquor her up, yes. No, the Sugar Shack. Real quick, I love the band at the Sugar Shack.
And I was on the top.
The first band?
Yes! The weird it's like weird shoegaze, like can't play. There's like twins playing on like the stringed instruments.
Now begin to run.
It was so weird and so crazy. It was like David Lynch. It was like Twin Peaks style or whatever. It was like freaking me out. I wanted them to reincorporate that band into the song. I wanted the bass player to look at the turntables and be like, "What?" and then start adding to the song. But they never do that.
Especially because the twins and that weird dude doing that song, that chorus was better than the actual chorus that they do. So like that would have been nice, because he's a very competent rappist, if you want to say. Like he definitely has like some fun things that he says, and I enjoy those. But I think he's the weakest point is the chorus on the other songs we see in this movie. Like Ice Ice Baby, obviously iconic, but not in this movie. The titular line is in his first song. I'm cool as ice.
Don't sweat it under pressure 'cause I'm cool as ice.
And like that's fun and that's catchy, but his "Let Me Be Myself" whatever song, that's like the slowest, weirdest like hook.
Oh, so the band could have come in then.
The band like rocking being the hook would have been amazing.
Like, bam! I love that in movies when like you go to the cowboy bar and they're like, let's kick it up a notch, but then like the cowboy band the guy on the banjo starts to join in behind the rapper, or like the metal guy or whatever. I'm like,
a guy's blown into a jug. There's someone pulling on a string on a broom. Exactly. Like you get that shit going.
Thing. The wash pail bass, yes. So like major missed opportunity there. Not a fan.
Yeah, I think the ending had some missed opportunities too. With just how quickly it gets resolved. I'm like a fiend for, I like things to be a little bit like, I like there to be like, okay, it's over. Oh no, it's not over. Something else happens. And this kind of, did you feel like it ended very abruptly, Chrissy, or what are your thoughts on the ending?
Yeah, I thought it ended, right, I wanted it to carry on, and it sort of like I knew how it was going to end, and it did end how I thought it was going to end, and very quickly, and then it's all done, and everyone's really happy, and they're like, whatever, it just goes into this really long song again. But I wanted it to keep going. I almost want it never to end. I want it to be the background music of my life. Like, I loved it.
You want to live in this film forever.
He wants 11 seasons of Cool as Ice, the TV show that took place immediately following this movie.
No, I was like, you guys know so much. I've only seen Cool as Ice, and I know who Vanilla Ice is. I don't know that song, but I'm in love with him now.
Nice.
I think that my most exposure to Vanilla Ice was there was a reality show. I can't remember what it was called. It was something like a pun or play on reality. But he was on there with a bunch of stars from that time period, and they just get locked in a house. I'll flash that now so people at home can see what that show is.
Ice really got upset because he has a big thing about his image of that time.
It irritated me.
But like Corey Feldman was on one season, Emmanuel Lewis was on, like all these people that you know, like Ron and Jeremy, like they would just slam people that had no business being in the same house together. The Surreal Life. It was called The Surreal Life.
Okay.
That's what it was.
There was one in the UK, and I think Vanilla Ice was in that one, because we were all like, oh my God, it's Vanilla Ice, and he's a bad.
He was on Big Brother or something, yeah. I don't know. I don't watch those shows. But
that's my like, oh yes, the inside is life. I watched his little Amish flipping, like houses and doing that stuff. And like, he's in general a fun guy. Rob Van Winkle has gone on to kind of he hated the Vanilla Ice like look, and then he embraced it. And then he went on some of the tours with ICP and the Juggalos playing Ice Ice Baby, but more aggressive and like, into more of a punk version of the song, or metal, I guess you'd call it.
Ice is back with the brand new invention. Grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly.
So like I'm familiar with the Iceman here, and I think this is the crowning achievement of his work.
His backstory is kind of heartwarming. He seems like a genuine guy that got famous really young and then had a tough time at certain points and found himself and did different things. And looking into that, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, no, because I think of him like a joke. I think of him like, oh, it's Vanilla Ice. It's the worst thing ever. But yeah,
he's played that way because he was a white rapper before there were a lot of white rappers.
Yeah,
like it was him and Eminem, and of the two of them, one of them strikes you as the cooler.
Once
guy.
You have Eminem, you just forget all about Vanilla Ice, and everybody moves on. He's like, what? Come on, no.
Yeah. But like, dude can dance. This was Usher before there was Usher. Like, he definitely has the moves.
I do want to say I think he's a bad rapper though. His like flow is very boring. Like
I think he is a dated rapper.
Yeah, the rhymes are like
in the 90s. That was what rap was.
I know.
Like, I'm cool, then I go to school, and you're a fool, because like that was what you did.
Because you're just a nerd. Haven't you heard? I got the word, and you're like, oh my god, I'm like cringing to death watching him. But
I do think if the dances were not filmed like a music video, they would be kind of cringy though. Like if you just picture a lot of the moves, like picture them on set, what they must have been like. It's like okay. Almost silently, there's music playing over there, or maybe it's just like in his head, and like things are going, and there's just the dude like thrusting and moving. And if the camera wasn't like dancing around and cutting between things, I think it would look very awkward. In fact, I think a lot of dances only look good because of how they are cut. Like if that was let's say you were watching that same performance, but it was on a stage at a school and it was a talent show, you'd be like,
wow. Yeah, the video at the end, the other bookend has a lot of cutting. It has a lot of weird. Yeah, because
I think you need that. Well, because just think about the poses and things that are happening. There's a lot of like, I am doing a weird military push-up. I have flipped you. I am now doing this thing. I've lifted you. Your head's in my crotch. We both flipped. Like all those things. If you weren't cutting back and forth, and it was just like, all right, it would look very awkward. Very awkward.
I is really talented. Like even as an actor, he was really, really good. Like he could have been a lot rubbisher, and he wasn't at all. He was good.
He definitely did he was doing something there because there was like that's not. I don't think that's his natural tone and cadence of speaking. Like he was almost doing the the hero talk where like you're speaking like. yeah, and then what happened? Like type of a like.
Gotta
like,
be true to yourself.
Yeah, you've gotta drop the drop the zero and get with the hero.
Words of wisdom. Drop that zero and get with the hero. Excuse me?
Like you almost expect his mouth to move a little bit too much.
Later, Dick.
See you later, Dick. It's Nick.
Oh, that's right, Nick. And then walks away. I was like, oh, that's okay.
Yeah, like
it's cute.
They wrote this nicely for it, and I think on purpose too, because coming from not being a trained thespian here, you want to give him short, digestible lines that he can punch, and that are the oh shit kind of moments, and almost every dialogue point he has is one of those moments, and I'm sure he actually is probably great at memorizing lines because he memorizes all these songs, so like I don't think that would have been a problem. You could have given him long soliloquies, and he probably could have knocked them out. But I don't think that would have fit the character.
Yeah, exactly. He played I can't remember his character named Johnny so well. It was done really well. It was fun. I think he's really talented.
When he physically like when he walks up to the dudes that are smashing the bike, and he just like stands next to them like, hey, what you doing? It's
What's up, fellas?
It's like Bugs Bunny walking up to the person and being like, "Hey, what's up?" It was yeah. He's got something. I'm not sure what it is, but he's got it. Definitely.
It definitely passed for like Power Ranger level action scene there too.
Oh,
like
the action scenes are fun,
It wasn't like a John Woo scene, but it worked with the cuts, and I thought that was certainly fine. You could have done more like actually, like, he could have done a movie Steven Seagal could have done, and I think I would have enjoyed it more.
I think it's a weird choice to make him a physical fighter, though. I thought he was going to defeat them with the power of dance or the power of motorcycle riding, but instead he punches and kicks people, which I thought.
Oh no, he beats ass.
Yes,
and he's a bike rider. Like in some of these scenes, it's definitely a trailer pulling it because there's a moment where past the credits where he's driving and he's just like. Like I'm like, there's no hands on the wheel, and there's a girl behind it. Like this, there's no insurance in the world that would allow this to happen. And honestly, I wonder how much of that they would even let him, because he rides motorcycles, but I don't know how much you would actually let your actor ride a motorcycle during the filming of a movie where he's not wearing a helmet because you need to see it's him. So I bet a lot of that is trailer, just because the rules and shooting in California just makes that happen. But some of those things, undeniably, he is driving. So, I always like those kind of moments. There's not a second where they care about his safety. He never has a helmet on.
He's too cool. That hair. We can't put a helmet on the head. Oh, my God.
I know. Hair. I like the bricks that he had on his hair or whatever.
I like those a lot, actually. I think that was very cool. No, he's got a look. And, I'm a 90s dude, so, I definitely can appreciate the look. And I'm not hating the look at all. I think it's very cool. I like it. He could show up tomorrow like that, and I'd be like, dude, killing it.
Look at it. Fresh, son, fresh. I think there's a point where he goes to kiss her and he goes, oh, yeah. And then he goes in to kiss her, and on his hat or on his collar.
On the back of his collar.
It says, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I like that it says the exact same thing that he just said. It's I
think the inside of his overalls also says, oh, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, nice.
There's a lot of fun words written across all of his outfits. I like that suit he has at the end where it's two suits put together and one's a crazy pattern and one's normal. And it's zigzag, this part is that and this part is this and the back pant leg is this and that. I'm like, yeah, this guy.
That was big back in the day. Yeah. Weird combinations of stuff and backwards jeans and all sorts of weird fashion.
Half the budget was the outfit.
Yeah, but it was a good place to go. It was a sort of a sense of escapism. It was fun. It reminded me of the 90s. And I'm a child of the 80s. So to me, I was a teen during that time. So it reminded me of a really good time. Gosh, I love Cool as Ice.
It's like a 90s fairy tale. Yeah. It's like a love story. It's like a fairy tale. It's like an unreal. The most 90s thing ever. I forgot to mention in the beginning. Right after you meet the mechanics, we have to go meet the family, and they play like a minute-long 90s montage over beatboxing where it's all sped up and the camera's spinning around. Bert has the paper like doing all this weird stuff. It was so crazy, and that is the moment when I said, I'm in. This, this
That's
movie's
the
going to be
90s
good.
commercial moment for me. I could picture like kids turning into
Gushers,
liquid. Yeah, like, I gotta get my, what the hell was that for? Like Sunny D or Squeezy Juice Box or whatever the hell that shit was called.
Jump and tumble here? I don't think so.
Like sugar. I need to buy this sugar, Mom. It's blue. Yes, those commercials. Absolutely.
Yes. And like this director, this is like his biggest thing. Like if you look at his IMDb page, it's like he is known for Inspector Gadget and this, and then like the other things like is known for don't even have fucking movie posters. Like this is that dude's shit.
He doesn't do like music videos or like other stuff.
I think he does do a lot of shorts and music videos and things, or at least he did. Probably commercial work. But this is a big deal for him. And Kathy, like she's been in a couple things, but this still shows up as her in her known for things. So like she did not get past this. She is I think the sister on Home Alone or something.
Yeah, she was on
ER.
She was on ER for like a long time. So I think I like knew her face from that just because ER was on in the house when I was a kid. I was not 11 watching ER, but yes, that was the thing. So yeah.
But I like that when like this is still what you are known for. I think that is huge.
To this day. She's like, damn it.
It's not what Naomi Campbell is known for, but she's also the smallest part in the movie. So like that's fine.
I didn't know I saw it. It said Naomi Campbell, and I was so excited, and I was like, "Oh, just like 1 second of it."
You're like waiting for her character to show up, and you're like,
"It's a good second." And at least if you showed up only for her, you didn't have to wait very long. It was like, "Oh, there she is! I got it. Okay, all right, off." You just walk away.
You can't leave. Yeah.
As I'm sure she told all her friends, "I'm in a movie. Watch this scene."
She was going to come in and sort of like try and steal Kathy away from him, but no, she was just going to say, 1 second, done.
That would be the sequel. She'd come back, the home wrecker, try to break up their happy home. I like the full circle nature of before we forget to talk about the younger brother here is asking the dick for a ride, and he's like, oh yeah, never gives him the ride.
Oh, what about my ride?
Next time, Tommy. Promise.
You always promise.
Off the jump, Vanilla Ice doesn't even know his name. He's like, hop on, kid, and they go for a ride. Let's go. I like that.
And that's why like stuff like that's intentional. The kid says, you always promise, and it goes, screw you, right? And then Vanilla Ice and him have a bond. He cuts his hair like him. It's great. Yeah.
It didn't exactly look like his. It just kind of looked like a messy mess. But yes, it's endearing.
Yes, he says, I did it myself. He goes, I can tell. Yeah.
What do you think?
It's fresh, man.
Thanks. I did it myself.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, like, because yes,
no, it's like, did the kidnappers do that to you?
Yeah.
Hell no. I did it myself.
Did they do this to your hair?
Hell no. I did it myself.
Okay.
This is bad, isn't it?
I'm awesome. It's fresh.
Yeah, it's
fresh.
They had a really good bond. I thought it was cute. I remember it's like I rewatched it again today, and I've forgotten all this stuff happened. It's like, and then you guys have been, you like notice all the tiny things. I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. It was brilliant.
Well, we're professionals, so that's.
Watch movies for a living, you know.
Like, I like how he kind of gets framed for being one of the bad guys type of thing. And like in so many ways, he's talking to them randomly, but the dad sees and then as we're talking about with the bonding with Tommy, the younger brother, people see him driving Tommy around town. So like, oh,
they were headed west on Grove. Who? Tommy and the guy who jumped me at the Sugar Shack.
Kidnapped Tommy earlier. He's missing. What the fuck, right?
And then being the guy that hands him the ransom.
That's the
tape.
biggest one. Is right in front of the daughter, right in front of Kathy. He hands the ransom tape to Kathy's dad and says, "This is for you." And she still doesn't think that he's like. I was like, wow, there's only 20 minutes left, and we're gonna have to do this whole thing where she hates him now, and then has to realize that he's not in on it, and back and forth. But she just never gives up on
never lost faith.
It's crazy, but she
That's
should have.
soulmate material right there.
He handed them the ransom tape. How could she not lose faith? It's crazy.
And it's not even a moment where he's like, oh, this was on the cat. This is,
He
this
doesn't
was on
say
the
exactly.
He goes, oh yeah, and this is for you. Like the most way of like, this is from me to you. Here you are. I wrote my name on it. There you go. It says Mr. Vanilla Ice.
That was huge in the 90s, though, right? The Steve Urkel robot would like break things and then leave, and then Steve Urkel would come around the corner and everybody would hate him. And he'd be like, "What do you mean? I didn't do anything." Right? There's always this weird, and being trapped with things or whatever, and trapped with stuff. So yes,
yeah, the mistaken identity, the bullshit like that.
Yeah,
but it's nice to not have something that like. I hate when it's a quick argument that could easily be explained by like, let me just call you involved. Like it wasn't one of those. It subverted your expectations, honestly, by not having her. Oh, how could you? You're a monster. Like there wasn't that. So like that's nice.
Yeah, if this was a worse movie, she would have been confronting him, and he would have been like, "What? I just gave him a ride. Like, what do you mean?" But like he'd be answering that, but she'd be thinking that he kidnapped him, and he'd be like, "What? Come on, the kid's old enough to hang out with me," and some weird misunderstanding or something. Yes.
No, it sidestepped that exactly.
Yeah. How she never lost faith in him. I was like, oh, because I thought she would, and then like it worked out all right. Like bless her.
Lucky for her.
Yeah.
Lucky for her, like Vanilla Ice swooping in at the last minute to stop her from being the one that gets kidnapped, which he had no reason to believe she was about to be kidnapped. But the man is psychic. He's like, a car up the road at night. I better go cut it off. Get on! And they drive away. And I'm like, did I miss something?
It's like the scene in like Aladdin. He's like, do you trust me? And he like grabs her and like takes her away. It's insane.
Do you trust me?
Yes.
And yes, there's just a car behind her. There's no reason to think anything. It's wonderful.
No. And if they were doing some dubious activities, they just stopped. They don't try to approach or do anything. For like trained mafioso thugs, they don't ever like do anything gun related.
I don't know if they're trained. Let's be real.
They're trained by the system. They were in the School of Hard Knocks, aka the Joint.
The way he's like playing with the gun and stuff, it's all goofy. Like they had a great like pick of people or whatever.
Yeah, and that guy, the shorter of the mob guys, he's familiar. I don't know what his name is, but I've seen him in a bunch of things. I think he always kind of plays a mobby villain-esque kind of character.
Yep. I'm sure of it.
And I think he's good at it.
Yeah, they were all really good. I know what you mean. Like, there's these like faces that come in and you feel like you've seen them before in something, but they were all really good. Like even that zany couple who owned that crazy house, I thought they were good in a weird, creepy way. It was brilliant.
Oh no, their rapport was fantastic. I would not be surprised if like they were just like, okay, we need some weird people on that couple. They're fighting in the Wendy's parking lot. You guys, you want to be in a movie? And they're like, yeah, I got a day. All right, what do we got? $20? Fuck yeah, I'm in a movie now.
Yeah, because like from earlier, like not only have they completely disassembled the bike and they're kind of apologetic, how long you plan on staying, right? They've also like they're just arguing and like reading the manual like right in front of them. And
before and after.
52, page 52.
Page 52.
What's that? 55.
Like turning the pages, like I don't know, and like shut up, what are you doing? Like hammering stuff, and they're all just like, oh no, what have we done? What are we gonna do? Yeah,
my bike that costs more than their house. Oh no!
Yeah.
But like to take a bike, to dismantle a bike to that level, you know the tools they'd have to have just like laying around the house, and things are not light. They're an old couple. They have different winches and things carrying pieces off.
They had everything, and they had the power of teamwork and love.
Yeah,
and they were able to do it.
No, it's fantastic. So like, Chrissy, is there anything we haven't touched on that you're like, we have to talk about this part?
It's like, you're so good. It's like, as soon as I don't know if you've like rushed all the way through it, and it's all flashed back through my eyes. But no, what was in this organizer? Like, I felt like she was so upset that she lost the organizer.
It seemed to be her future somehow. It had like college checks or some
Yeah, she said my scholarship stuff was in there.
Tommy, this is serious. It's got all my scholarship stuff in it.
Which you're like, yeah, did that mean the check that they dropped so you can go to college? Like, what the?
I don't get a lot of that. So, like, when did he steal that from her? And when did she steal his driver's license?
In the air, as he was careening off of the fence ledge, whatever, he snatches her. No, they don't show it, right? I have no idea.
Like, it must have dropped off of her person as she fell off the horse. But like, why would the day planner be with her when she went horseback riding? And we don't ever, and maybe I'm wrong. You watched it today. Did you see him pick it up off the ground? I don't remember ever seeing that.
No, they didn't show it unless they forgot to film it. No,
which happens.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it didn't have a long shoot and you have horses to deal with.
Or it didn't look right, or something was wrong with something. Because she also hits him. You could have played something off, like he's like yoink or whatever. But they don't play him like a criminal. He's just a motorcycle rap enthusiast who can fight.
We only actually ever see him assault people, break and entering, and steal. Yeah. So I guess they do portray him.
Yes. I was being sarcastic, yeah. But we don't see him actually like pickpocket or anything like that. I don't know if he has that skill set. So.
Maybe he was just so good at it, and they didn't have the foresight to slow it down, like when Matt Damon pickpockets people. So you just never saw it happen. It was, oh my God, he's cool as ice. The man
That's what I'm saying.
He's in and out.
He's like in the air and just like snatched it away from her while she's on the horse.
And then presumably he just keeps his driver's license alone in like his front pocket where you would drop women's phone numbers.
Yeah, with Monique's phone number. Yep.
That's interesting.
When did she steal that? When they were dancing?
No idea.
We don't see that either.
At one part, so back when I was saying the dance part's cringy, so let's think about the dance numbers that are there. At one point, he's like on top of her in the club, and everyone's watching like, oh yeah, these are not impressive moves at most points for the crowd to be watching in awe.
Impressive.
If anything, like, is he sexually assaulting?
I was just going to say, impressive only as some sort of rape maneuver, some like imitation of rape. Yeah, and she's like thrashing back and forth like there's a part ironically in the middle of the dance that is so cringy like that is so weird. But at the end, he's like dipping her and she's laughing and the boyfriend's fuming. Everything's fine. But there was a little dodgy bit in the middle that I thought was weird. Yes.
It was my favorite part of the dance routine, you know?
Yes.
I liked it. Also, like, jumping around, I was like, oh, great. As soon as we did that, I was like, yes, love that bit.
The opening club dance part, there's a part where people just dance in silhouette light, like coming from a window, where they're just like doing this, and I'm like, what kind of club is this that people just go off to like the slight amount of light peeking in through a cracked window, and they like whip their heads around and shit? Like, it's supposed to be a real club. Like, that's not a music video, but that's what it is, you know?
Oh dear.
I think I thought they were filming a music video there. I think that was my issue.
Crying because of that funny.
Lee, do you have any parts that we have to make sure we talk about in this movie?
You can tell I'm like checking to see. I do, because at the very, 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 very end, he's like, I forgot something. And turns around and then like ramps off of the dude's car. The dude's like white, nice car. He like jumps the car, right?
Yes.
And they are, again, I think, missing a shot where they show his hood being all scuffed up and like messed up or something.
Or did he literally jump over the car as a flex,
the same
never
way,
harming that car? Exactly. Because that's almost like the risk versus reward here. Even if he was, that car, yes, is a lower, sporty car. And maybe, yes, he could drive over, but there would be a moment when you're going over a convertible specifically, when you would hit the windshield of that car and you would be in the back seat and the woman riding on the back of your motorcycle would get launched and she would be dead.
Oh dear, but that's not a look.
Truly like Romeo and Juliet now.
Disagree. That is the love story that I think that people need. You need things to be realistic. You need to know that things happen, and sometimes the actions that you do hurt others, the ones you love. I think moral, bam,
it's
got
a hubris
him.
tale then, yeah.
All across that would, honestly, in all honesty though, if it ended like that and you put a good amount of money into your last effect and she's launched and hurt and the movie ends right there, this would be a cult classic in every way.
I actually wanted it to end where he was in on the plot, where they hired him and stuff. And they're like, and like one of them tied to the car shouts something, and he like punches them and says, "Shut up if you know what's good for you," whatever. Like he's the, it like flashes back, and like when that guy makes the phone call, Vanilla Ice answers, somewhere else, and it's like all in on it.
No. I can do better than that.
But he also fell in love. Yeah.
So they show up, and they have the bad guys tied to the hood of the car, and they bring them in, and now they are arrested. It proceeds on, and we have Vanilla Ice go into his long-lasting relationship where he gets a job in the college town that she goes to. It proceeds on. The relationship goes 2 years later. He goes up to the dad. He goes, "I have to ask you a question." He goes, "You know how I feel about your daughter. I really love her. We're really gonna need that $500,000. It's the longest of cons.
I don't want you near her tomorrow or any other day.
Isn't that up to her?
Get the hell out of here."
All right, I think we've hit most of what happens in this movie, enough to be, considered spoiled. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. It was so good. I think so, right? It was all good. The only bits I didn't like was that first bit and that dude eating the sandwich. The rest of it I loved.
I think we could cut that part easy, and it wouldn't hurt.
It's still held up. Yeah.
Cat. You know, the chick who drives the horse.
Oh, now you got her name.
All right, so Chrissy, thank you so much for joining us. Tell the people, what you got going on, where they can find you, anything on the horizon. This is your time to plug.
So, thank you so much for having me. I'm a massive fan of the show, and you can find me on Insta and Twitter at Chrissie Wunna. And that's it, really. I'm filming quite a lot right now, but I'm not going to reel them off. You'll just have to find me.
So thanks again for joining us. And all right, guys, we'll see you next time.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
If you want to support the show, head over to cannibalvideo.com, pick up some merch.
And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's something.
Whatever.
Fuck these motherfuckers.
Across the street to Slinger Schlong.
Cannibal Video has everything you need. A wide array of VHS and DVDs. We ate the competition.